Welcome back to SPX 2013. I'm Joe.
I'm Rusty.
I'm Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Welcome.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
So you're at SPX and you do comics sometimes, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
On occasion.
So you were just talking about your autograph line,
Yeah,
and it was oppressive.
it was a little out of control. I'm sorry I was late.
No.
It's okay.
It's
the magic
fine.
of comics.
Internet is timeless.
Okay.
So you know, once you're here, it's good to go.
Excellent. Good
So
to hear.
you have your new book, and how's it? I'm worried about what's it, Rasl?
It's called Rasl.
And now you just had this new collection come out.
Yes, which I didn't bring with me.
That's all right.
Would have been good to show.
I'll put, you know what? I'll put a graphic of it on the screen.
Okay, thanks.
So everybody knows what it looks like. It's on the front page of the Washington Post style section today.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So a lot of people know what it looks like.
Okay, good.
And so your new collection came out. You're here supporting that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's actually premiering here today at the show.
Oh, okay.
And we may have already sold out.
Wow.
Well,
I know. I'm really.
you can never. For some things, you can never bring
I'm
it
not
up.
pissed that I
Yeah.
sold out. I'm pissed that I didn't bring more. But who knew?
yeah, well, you can only gauge so much. And then,
Yeah.
You don't want to be lugging back hundreds of pounds of books.
Yeah, no, they're not small books either.
no, they aren't. It's a big chunk of book.
It is a giant chunk of book. It's a brick.
It's 500 pages.
Yeah.
And it's nice
Hardcover.
big size, hardcover.
Now I noticed
Color,
that
it's in full color.
Yes.
for the first you did it with Bone, and now you did it with this. You've colorized it in like a later edition.
Yeah.
Well, what's the thought into that?
Well, I like to try to get people to buy the book over and over and over.
That
again.
is the best answer you could have given.
That's how you win at comics, right there.
George Lucas has nothing on me.
Well, next time you're going to add extra characters.
Right.
The second
Special
printing, there's
edition
new
raffle.
things.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no panel
Whoops.
breaks anymore,
It's
guys.
sold out. Special edition.
Special edition.
So this is a book decidedly different from Bone.
It is different than Bone. Bone was obviously a humor adventure book, and this is more like a hard-boiled noir with sci-fi elements. And
Right.
That's a little more grown up, but still very much my comic book. I mean, if you pick it up, you'll recognize my art style and the way I tell stories and stuff like that, and my lettering. A lot of people were like, can't get over the fact that my Bone lettering is in like a dirty book.
Well, both books come from the same place. You know, the same brain, the same heart.
Yeah,
They're just different
and still-
aspects.
And you know, in both books, I explore not only the surface adventure, but I like to think about the things we can't see, the life forces that surround us, and mythology and things like that. And I was able to put that in Bone and in Rasl. And, again, that's kind of like what makes comics and storytelling fun for me.
And from what I understand, you did a lot of research going in on Rasl too, right?
Oh, an awful lot of research.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to do science fiction unless there was a real science fiction element, something that was real.
But then just tweaked a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Rasl goes to parallel universes is obviously completely imaginary, but parallel universes are actually something physicists, and
Right.
people that study string theory and M theory really believe is out there. So, you know, and I figured out what they think, and I put that in the book, and I built everything around that. So it would have a ring of truth to it.
Now, in both cases, you had a story. I'm guessing from the outset, you knew that this story was going to end at a certain point.
Yes.
But you also decided to do the books like regularly instead of just waiting for a big graphic novel.
Right.
Well, is it just to keep things coming out, keep yourself productive?
I think with Bone, it was because.
Well, I mean, that was your
with
make.
Bone, with graphic novels, kind of really didn't
Right.
exist. I mean, they existed, but they weren't a way of doing something.
Yeah, it was very much like a singles market.
Yeah, it was a singles market, and graphic novels then were considered like novelties, were very rare, and usually were not kept in print. They were just something that comes out once as a collection of popular stories, and then is let go out of print.
I remember-
So that was a way to get a big story, was by serializing.
Yeah, well, I remember when Bone first started, I think it was around issue 7 or 8, it just blew up.
Yeah.
And you kept going into extra printings for the...
That was
they're
a
like-
good memory. It was exactly around.
Well, no,
7 or
it was
8.
funny.
Yeah.
I was, not to age anybody here, I was 15 and I worked at the comic book store. Only worked one day a week.
I'll be the. Are you going? Pardon me. Are you going to be in the? Here? All right. I'll just be a few minutes. All right. thanks.
So, but it was, I remember worked at the comic book store one day a week, was awesome. But then Bone blew up and you would go there and they would have like the 3rd printing of number 1, the 5th printing of number 2.
Right.
It was, and that was the graphic novel at the time. You just kept printing the book over and over again.
Right. Well, my wife, who's my business partner, and has helped me with cartoon books since the beginning. Part of our business plan was we knew that Bone was going to be a giant book with a kind of the literary structure of a beginning and a middle and an end. And it was planned as a single book from the beginning. But that was an unusual idea. We didn't really publicize it because we thought people would be like, oh, I don't want to get involved.
Yeah, you know it's going to end with.
Yeah. So, but we also knew that we had to collect them and we had to keep it in print because if it's going to be a long book, if somebody comes in at issue 15 or 20, how are they going to read issue 1 when Wizard has it listed as Bone number 1 being worth $300?
Right.
So we needed, to keep them in print, second printing, third printing, and then eventually we moved to the graphic novels. And that was a hard sell, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But retailers didn't want to give up that $300 Bone number
No,
1.
no. There's the
we
worry
wanted to
that if
make
there's
it
an easier to obtain version than the collectible one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that, I think we won that one anyway. Graphic
Well, I
novels
mean,
are here to stay
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
They're not going
absolutely.
anywhere.
The industry's better for it for that. So.
Yeah.
Now, this is not your first expo.
No, I was at the very first one.
We were at the third one, and you were there as well.
Yeah, well, I probably went to the first 6 or so. I think I remember because I was very involved in the softball game.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
that's
remember
right.
in the early days, SPX was a one-day show. It was much smaller. Saturday.
Saturday show.
And then Sunday we had a pig roast and a big softball
The
game.
Sunday was
Time and
they had the
comic
panels
distributor.
about the industry, like
Yeah.
how to get your book carried by a distributor,
Right,
the
right.
best practices for this or that or the other
Right,
thing.
it was just panels and then out into the sunshine.
Right.
Yes.
Right. The cartoonist in the sunshine was like
Cartoonist playing baseball.
it was wonderful.
Yeah.
But eventually the show grew and we had to move to 2 days, and that became that was just part of the
I mean,
history.
it had to happen at some point. Yeah, but we were just reminiscing before this show. It was '96 was our first one, and we found a clipping from a local newspaper, and it was
I
like.
was about the first one. Are you sure?
And
96?
no,
Yeah,
we always
apparently
thought
there-
that was the second because the first year we wanted to go, the first year we found out about it, we weren't allowed. We weren't old enough.
It was a
Yeah,
Friday and we couldn't skip school.
I think,
to go.
but I thought that 95, because SPX kind of came out of a conversation or an idea that Dave Sim and I had,
Yeah.
which was to tour together, go around and have good stores, like I think it was Big Planet here in Bethesda.
Yeah.
Organize a small show of independent and self-published people around it.
Yeah.
And we would tour around, and then we set that into motion. Although I didn't actually go on the tour because I got in a big fight with Dave Sim. But the next year, I think it would have been '96. I think that was the first year.
I
think
mean,
that was the first
I remember
show.
the year before was a Friday show, and there was no way we were going to be allowed
Yeah,
to skip
it
school
was-
for that.
It was a very different show too.
And then we went the next year because it was Saturday, and the blurb on the Washington City paper was like over 50 guests. And you're like, oh man, 50 guests.
Man,
And
what
I
are there
remember
now?
there were those three
300
small,
or something?
It's like over 600. This
yeah,
600
on the
Yeah,
list.
Unbelievable.
That
And there
is
were the
crazy.
3 small rooms, and we're like, oh man, can't get any better than this.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's oh boy, look at it now.
I know.
I mean, they just doubled the space in here,
Yeah.
and you can't tell. You still can barely
Still,
move.
like full of people. Yeah.
And like we sold all the Rasl we brought. I mean, already.
Yeah.
What time is it? It's only like.
What are you gonna do tomorrow?
I don't know. Just draw pictures for people.
hang out.
I guess.
Don't cap the line. Just
I'm gonna go drink bourbon in the bar.
Yeah. Tell people to
No,
come meet
actually,
you at the bar.
I'll just come sit here and drink bourbon. You mind?
No, it's fine.
We'll
That's
just
fine.
hang out while you interview other people.
no, we'll get you a coaster. It'll all be good.
Okay,
No.
great.
Now, before you go,
Okay.
just a quick question.
What's on?
We have a mystery machine. Real quick, this will only take 30 seconds.
Okay.
Would you like to answer a mystery question?
Absolutely.
All right. Here we go. Don't fall off.
That's exciting.
Bring it over.
Here's your quarters, sir. We'll get you right on out of here. Now,
Yeah. You did pretty good. People have been having issues.
people have been having some
They're
challenges.
very strong capsules apparently.
Wow.
What's your question?
I don't know. I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, okay. I got this one. Please describe your day using only your hands. I like that day.
All right.
Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you guys. It was actually a lot of fun. It was really
Great.
Yeah, we're glad you could come.
Good luck not selling any more books.